talk about it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they always.
Freezing cold, rainy, global warming.
Yeah, the worst winter you've ever had, right? And all of a sudden we got
there isn't going to be a winter, is there?
Yeah.
There's definitely still winter.
We're on air right now, so what's the difference between a snow tire and a mud tire?
A snow tire, preferably, would have studs in it.
Really?
It actually will have these little metal spikes in there.
They still do that. I heard
they do.
They just outbanned that a while back.
Well, they did in certain states like Illinois, New York, but some of these other states, like going up in the mountains, they still have them.
A lot of
You can
states
still
have
buy them,
seasonal.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah,
You can run them for certain months out of the year.
And
it's really hard on your car.
And I had heard, I think it was Ohio, I believe they had banned it or something when I was up in Ohio, and I got snowed in. And I asked them, what's the difference? They said, well, basically it's a mud tire, and we call it snow tire.
Right,
But
it's
we
got
used to
studs.
have the studs in it.
Right, you can still buy tires like that actually, even mud tires, they have the little divots where you can screw in the studs.
Yeah, and the studs are great. Trust me, when I was growing up with my dad, he had those. He goes, watch, man, we're just going to peel out. And we just took off, man. Those studs, those tires just hooked, and you were gone. It was like drag strip. Just get it to
my
hook.
real colors. I don't know nothing
Yeah,
about
right.
snow, so.
And the worst part is it ripped up the road, but you know what? You look at the sand and the salt that was on the road to begin with, and that was ripping up the road.
Right.
So that's one of the reasons they got rid of the studs. But then they started going from sand or from salt to doing sand because it didn't rip up the road as much, but it wasn't as good. So
Then remember
you know,
the chains. That was a real pain.
Oh, yeah.
Remember chains? That was a short-lived thing where you'd put chains around your tires.
Well, yeah, and I was going through Aspen, Colorado, and they said you have to have your chains on. Well, there's no way I was going to stop, because if I would have stopped, I would have got stuck. I said, I guess we're just going to have to chance it, so I'm not going to put the chains on. Because there was no spot coming down the hill where you actually could stop and put the chains on. And I was actually looking at cars that were actually over the edge. So, you know, you just have to be very careful. But in places like that, you have to have chains. It actually gives you your traction, otherwise you will slide right off those roads. But the
Happened
studs
to
were
me
always
one
the
time.
easiest, yeah.
I was doing a radio show very late at night. I think I finished something like 2 in the morning. And they had salted the road, and I don't know if you know about salting the roads. They salt the road up to a certain point, and you couldn't see where they stopped it. So I'm riding along, the salt was fine, and all of a sudden a sheet of ice. And that was it. I was totally unprepared. And the tree and I met. It was, I didn't hurt myself. The car got a little injured, but it's very dangerous up north. What's that?
Enough to get the heart pumping.
Yeah.
In there.
Yeah.
It's like a race car. But.
I don't know if people make it up north. I was in New York one time. And
Well, expect it. You know how to turn the wheel, and you know. But when it comes totally unexpected, you're just.
And, you know, and it happens a lot. You know, I was going around a turn when I had my big Buick LeSabre in Chicago, and I was born and raised there, so I dealt with the snow all the time. But boy, I tell you, it just hit one little piece of ice patch, and you know, on the turns on your side streets, they have these big curbs because they usually have their drains there. And the curb was probably about good 12 inches, maybe about almost 12 inches tall. So I slid around that, and my front tire hit that boy, bent that wheel, and I was lucky. That's all I did was bend the wheel and tire. That was it.
Yeah, no body damage.
Nothing, no body damage or anything. But that's all it takes is just a little bit of a slide, and boom, right underneath the snow, you don't see it. Yeah. So it's, you know, when you're in those types of states, you have to be careful.
This is Kathy. I don't know if y'all met Kathy.
No.
Kathy,
Hey, Kathy, how are
This
you?
is a friend of mine, and she just came back from up north. Where were you in? New Hampshire.
New Hampshire, huh?
It was a little cold up there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, as Will said, snowing and really happy to be down here, I guess. Are you a snowbird, or are you going? You live here. Oh.
So you just visit
saw the
New
line.
Hampshire.
Right.
Well, we're on air, but Kathy is a very dear friend of mine, and her husband passed away last year and was one of my finest friends I met in Florida.
Well, sorry to hear
And,
about that.
We're glad she's here, and
Great.
y'all lived here quite a while.
22 years.
How many?
22.
22 years. Wow, that's a long
I moved here in
time.
1985, so I'm kind of in the same boat.
Yeah.
I'm no longer a Louisiana.
Yeah, but you still have that accent. You'll never get it out of you. A lot going on, especially in New Orleans.
Well, I'm not too fond of Ms. Landreau right now, but that's a different story.
politics?
Landreau, who took a huge bribe to vote But,
Well,
oh, see?
it's crooked wherever you go.
Well, a lot of places, but it was very crooked there for a long time.
Well, you got Harry Connick Jr. and Harry Connick Sr. And Harry Connick Sr. is like part of the DA, and being a part of the DA, I think he's had his hand out a lot.
Oh.
But his son is very talented, so
He's
how can you beat that?
immensely talented. But I like your governor, though. The governor. I think he's got a lot of talent.
Yeah.
Bobby Jindal.
We've had some good governors, and they're all. We've had.
I love that outlet. Thank you.
Oh, is that what that bell is for?
Of course. You like the food a lot. You get to ring the bell and tell Charlie about it.
That's very good.
A1 Auto Stop Shop.
Oh, Jerry. Yeah, right.
Jerry and his wife Pam
Yeah.
went and bought it the first day I opened, I believe, and they went and had the sign made up for me, and
That's cool, yeah.
they're my good friends.
I think the last time I rang it when I was in here for breakfast.
Now, something's wrong here. How many good friends do you have? And you know what? You're not just bragging, because we know these are your good friends.
Good friends, yeah.
Because we met you through Jerry.
I'm very fortunate, I guess. I don't
Yeah.
know.
It's the accent.
It's the accent. People just want to hang around
hear
with
me
you.
talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
But,
They want to hear you talk.
I did.
Right, no
I did.
problem.
I moved away, and you find out when you move away from somewhere and you come back, you find out that there's a lot of people that know you and like you. Maybe I don't know why. But,
Oh,
We
yeah.
like you too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of rub up on us.
Y'all new too.
We're the
Get
newer
new
ones.
friends.
Yeah,
I don't only get
We're
the
his
old
new
ones, I get
friends.
the new ones.
That's what makes
Are we in
life
the good
great.
category yet?
Yeah.
All right.
You're getting a bad signal, Chef Larry?
Just skip it out sometimes.
Oh.
So we're just going to scoot it over towards Brian here.
It's okay. You can squish them if you like.
I have metal plate in my head on it. That's
We've
fine.
moved this
Yeah.
around so much here today. We have a great signal when we're outside with the tiki tents out there. I guess they absorb and make a good acoustic balance for us. But in here, you know what it probably is? The walls. What is this? This is a corrugated tin. So I'm thinking that might be a little too close to the corrugated tin, Chef Larry.
That could be.
It could be.
But sometimes it gives you a nice ground.
You could give Brian that to hold. He could just like stand over you.
Yeah.
Like the Statue of
Let's,
Liberty.
let's see how we do right here.
Or like
Yeah.
the celebration of the show.
The celebration of the
Yeah.
show. And how I'm going to kick it back to Ed Dean and really throw his politics at him.
How are you going to throw his politics at him?
Politics?
Yeah.
Well, he goes mostly right, but then he will switch to left to throw a little kink in there.
I've not heard him go left.
Oh,
at all.
only sometimes.
No, I haven't heard that.
It's always the way he does it. But he's our I don't want to say controversial host on WJF, but he's got a nice show that we're going to be drawing a lot of people out to WJF for that.
You know, I blame it on the bell. The show was going well until you hit the bell. The bell might have just.
Aw.
Maybe it's a voodoo bell.
It's a voodoo
Oh,
bell.
maybe Jerry got it in
Yes.
New Orleans.
I think we should get the investigative reporters in on this.